The Braves begin a road trip with a victory over the Boston Red Sox, a hard-earned victory at Fenway Park. The Braves win by a score of 7-6 today, and they needed it because that Washington series was frustrating. I know as a fan it was very frustrating to watch. As a player, I could not imagine how frustrating it must have been to just not be able to score against a team that gives up, I think, the second most runs in baseball coming into that series. And, you held the best offense in baseball to 8 runs over 3 games. You figured that would get you done for at least a series win, if not a sweep. And it's just not meant to be. Very frustrating. You ran all 3 games. I think got 1 hit in game 2. Just put up a fight in game 3. Couldn't get it done. But you have been in every game you've played really, except for that Marlins opener for the past month. So that's something to at least rejoice in if you're a Braves fan. You're not getting blown out. But that being said, the Braves absolutely needed a victory. And they turned to Spencer Strider, who outside of the start in Colorado has been pretty good. He got banged up a little bit last time out, but he gave up only 4 hits. It just so happened that 3 of them left the yard. That's something we'll talk about again tonight. Habit for Strider, something to work on, is just not giving up the long ball. But with the style of pitcher that Spencer Strider is, with the velocity not being elite anymore, it's just going to happen sometimes. Fastball is not going to be perfectly placed. It's going to end up in the fence or over the fence. You hang a slider or a curveball or a changeup, and you're going to see what Rafaela did with it tonight. Just put it over the green monster. So that's how this game started for Atlanta. Just Jarren Duran and Rafaela went back-to-back on you to start, and on 2 different pitches. I actually thought the Duran homer on the fastball, he was just able to pull one down the right field line and put it probably about 8 or 9 rows deep into right field at Fenway. And then Rafaela takes one over the green monster. So 2 completely different pitches. Duran, I thought, was just a really good piece of hitting by a really good hitter. I mean, he's only hitting 198 on the season, but that is not what Jarren Duran is. He was on Team USA at the World Baseball Classic for a reason, and just kind of what you expect him to do, more things like that than how he has performed early in the season. Rafaela, though, that was just a slider that hung up at the very top of the zone. Any major league hitter is going to hit that very, very hard, and just so happened that, the center fielder hit it right over the green monster. Braves start this down 2-0. They were able to put up some fight in both the second and third innings before they finally broke through in the 5th. So Spencer Strider, after giving up the first 2 runs, actually escapes without giving up anything of, he did technically give up 1 more run. I don't really count it as his fault, but it is credited to him. Locked in, though, after the back-to-back home runs. He ends the day with a 5+ innings pitched, 3 hits given up. Of course, though, those 3 hits, 2 left the yard. 5 strikeouts at 5 innings. Got to cut down on the walks as well. 3 walks in only 5 innings. So, excuse my voice. Been dealing with an absolutely terrible head cold for basically the last week. So, that's why you haven't seen much of me, is because I've just not had a voice. This is the best I've sounded in a while. So, if you can actually believe that. So, like I mentioned, the Braves finally tied this game up in the 5th. Ranger Suarez, to give him credit, he has owned the Braves throughout his career with Philadelphia. Now he's with Boston, and he was repeating that through the first 4 innings of this game. He gives you a line of 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks, with the 1 homer given up by Olson. Obviously, that's 5+ innings. He did go back out for the 6th, and immediately got punished by the Braves lineup on the third time through. Matt Olson took a beanball right off the elbow in this game. It seemed to wake him up. Not that he, in particular, needed it. He's going through a little bit of a slump during the month of May, which is kind of a thing for the entire roster. For guys who are hot in May or in March and April, Ozzy Albies is the biggest culprit, but Matt Olson a little bit as well. Seems to have woken him up, and he hits a towering fly ball in to right center today. Just a very good at-bat from Matt Olson. And of course, right ahead of him, Dubon reached. So, with a man on base, you don't want to pitch to Matt Olson, but sometimes you have to. So Matt Olson deposits one into the bleachers. We have a 2-2 ball game heading into the sixth inning, where both teams would just give the game to their pins, basically. They're going to send their starter out. Neither would get another out after the fifth inning. This is where it gets a little bit dicey. The Braves seemingly blow this game wide open against Suarez and Weezert. Weezert gave up the one hit, but was not able to get out of the inning early enough to prevent damage. And something about Michael Harris, I know everyone's like, well, he's just on a hot streak. He's not on a hot streak. He's been on this hot streak for the entire season. We're 55 games in at this point, so we're almost, we are a third of the way into the season. He is really, really good. He's made some adjustments in the offseason. He still chases like crazy, but the difference between chasing and striking out like he did in the past is he is getting to those balls and he is piecing them into the outfield for hits or sometimes even more. He had a 4-for-4 night tonight, easily the player of the game for Atlanta, and all four of the balls that he put in play were outside of the strike zone. So that's just something I wanted to highlight. Probably Harris right now is on an absolute heater. And it started out with the first 3 weeks of the season with him just getting seriously unlucky. And I said that he was profiling as one of the best players in baseball. Just he could not catch a break in the first 3 weeks. He was hitting right around 200. And then he's turned it on. Really think that road trip to Washington and Philly really lit a fire where he was hitting home run after home run after home run. Had a really good trip to Miami. And now he's starting once again on the road. So Michael on the road is kind of insane this year. Just wanted to highlight, while he hits 227 at home, he has 3 home runs at Truist Park. In away games, he has 9 homers, 5 doubles. He's hitting 375 with a 111 OPS. So, insane to Michael away from Truist Park. Maybe that's because with the young kid at home, he's just not getting as much sleep at home as he does on the road, so it's a little bit paradoxical. But right now, Michael Harris is a force to be reckoned with on the road. And something I did want to point out is he's technically slumped through May, and he's still hitting 289 with an 836 OPS. So he's cooled off, and this is the level to just expect him at over the rest of the season, as long as he can put it together for a full season. That's always been the problem with Michael. This has probably been the longest prolonged stretch of excellence we've seen out of Michael Harris since he was called up in 2022. Maybe that rookie season he was better for longer, but I don't think he was ever quite this good. So, something to think about. I wanted to point out he is hitting 304 right now. That's good for 7th in the National League. An OPS of 865, 15th in the National League. And looking at his, I'm trying to find the expected OPS, expected batting average. Yes. So he is expected batting average of 298. So that's only a 4-point difference of where he's actually falling. So everything about Michael's approach right now says that this is sustainable. He's hitting the ball harder than he ever has in the major leagues. And he's walking at about a 4% rate. That's very low. I mean, bottom 4% in all the major leagues. However, that's pretty good. That gets him back to 2020, or that's near 2023 levels for him. So just keep doing what he's doing. He is just searching for contact and hoping to be aggressive. I mean, an xWOBA of 382, batting average 295, expected slugging of 560. All while giving you Gold Glove defense in center. He is so good and worth every bit of the contract if he keeps playing like this. And that's something I wanted to point out. Michael Harris in the outfield has given you the ability to wait on Ronald Acuna Jr. to get right. Ronald this year has really struggled, but he has struggled mostly against lefties. He's hitting 272 actually against righties, but the power this year is just not there compared to previous seasons. He has been just very bad. He's hitting below a 100 OPS against meatballs. So pitches right down the middle that should be considered hittable. He is struggling against the fastball as well. Any fastball in the zone is absolutely eating him up right now. He just can't seem to fix it. I don't know if that's a mental problem, a mechanical problem, but Ronald Acuna Jr. still, even in this form that is not as scary, brings more depth to this lineup. And the Braves, with Acuna in the lineup, just perform significantly better than when he is out of it. So, very, very happy to have him out there every day, but definitely want to see him improve, especially against fastballs. If he can just hit league average, slightly above average against fastballs, doesn't have to be Ronald Acuna Jr., but can't be hitting, less than 100 against fastballs down the middle, and as the leadoff hitter on the best Major League Baseball team. So, something to keep in mind, though, like I mentioned, Michael Harris turning into a legitimate MVP candidate, maybe not an MVP candidate, but definitely will be getting votes in the National League, has allowed Ronald Acuna Jr. to lag behind a little bit. It has given the Braves time to work with Ronald Acuna Jr., and I believe that has to be the next project for the Braves coaching staff. They seem to have turned Austin Riley around, who is having a fantastic month of May. Another double tonight for him, and it almost left the yard. If it was hit slightly to the right, it probably does leave the yard. But I wanted to look at his splits in the month of May, where he really picked his season up. 274 average, 5 home runs, 826 OPS. That is still not where you want Riley to be. However, it is beyond serviceable. That would give him about 30% better than an average hitter in Major League Baseball. And Riley is plenty capable of keeping these May results up and improving on them even further. So, very good sign for Austin Riley. Ozzy Albies, on the other hand, is regressing back to what his StatCast and all of his expected numbers told you he was during that hot stretch in March and April. I'm not saying the sky is falling with Ozzy Albies. I'm just saying it probably wouldn't hurt to give him a day off. But you're struggling right now with Ha-Seong Kim at shortstop, and you're trying to get him in every single day, but you can't afford to lose another bat. But right now, while you are carrying Mauricio Dubon, Ha-Seong Kim, Ozzy Albies is on the roster, obviously. That gives you the opportunity to go up and, you could put in Mauricio Dubon tomorrow at second base, Ha-Seong Kim at short, and just give Ozzy Albies a day off. Looking at some of his splits, like I mentioned, in the month of May, I know that he's just not doing well. Put this in regular season. Looking at spring training does not help us. Monthly splits, in April, he was hitting 324, 6 home runs. This month, 191 with only 1 home run, 2 doubles, just not having the power or the contact that we're used to seeing out of Ozzy Albies, kind of regressing back to the mean. Something interesting to keep an eye on, though, against lefties, he's hitting 292. Against righties, he's hitting 250. So if you have a right-handed starter coming up, it would be probably wise to bring in just give him a day off. Let's talk about the rest of this game, because I kind of get distracted there. Without the overlay graphic, I don't really structure these episodes, so you kind of just get me with a train of thought. So, with Spencer Strider leaving this game, he left a 5-2 ball game. I remember I actually texted my uncle and said, I feel good leaving this to the back end of the bullpen. Spotting them a 3-run lead is basically cashing a blank check. And they really worked to disprove that tonight, but they managed to get it done. Spencer Strider walks the first batter he sees in the 6th inning. Walt Weiss doesn't hesitate, brings in Didier Fuentes. I actually love this move, even though it did not work out very well. Didier Fuentes comes in. Try to pull up this. And immediately gives up a single from Wilson Contreras. Walks Yoshida. And so he has the bases loaded. He's only faced 2 batters. So he has to face one more. He gets Gasper to ground into a double play. And Walt Weiss had seen enough. Brings in Dylan Lee to get Sogard to ground out. Gave up the 1 run. Considering everything, I think he pitched pretty well. Thrown into a medium leverage spot that quickly became pretty stressful. Just got to learn on the job. Didier Fuentes is having an amazing year out of the pen. Dylan Lee comes in. He's supposed to get 4 outs for you. And a rare Dylan Lee home run given up. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa just took him over the monster. It is a righty right on left. Just got a good piece of there we go. I was like, I want to see the pitch by pitch because I know it was a very short at bat. Yeah, just a bad first pitch fastball. Slider was hung. Went right back to the slider. Got away with the first mistake. Did not get away with the second mistake. IKF deposits it over the Green Monster. And so the Braves bullpen that was near invincible through the first 50 games of the season has been beat up a little bit by the Washington Nationals and now the Boston Red Sox. But that makes it 5-4. And like I mentioned, Michael Harris is inevitable right now. The home run to center field, this was probably the closest ball to the zone he hit all night. Maybe his first hit was right there at borderline strike, but just went down and got it. Probably not the best pitch by Guerrero. He had Michael down 1-2 and was just burying him with the sinker. and just went to the changeup. Just a bad scouting report because you know that Michael will chase and is very capable of doing damage with a ball that is 4 or 5 inches below the zone. Bad scouting report for Boston, and it winds up being the difference in this game because Raisel Iglesias came into this game sporting a long scoreless streak. Even back to last season, he had gone 15 games, 15.2 innings without giving up any sort of run this year, and that went back all the way to last year. That streak ends tonight as he comes in to get the 3-run save. Starts with Gasper on a line drive to center, then Sogard doubles just down the left field line, gets kind of trapped in the corner. Dubon has trouble fielding it, so you have second and third, nobody out. Strikes out Monasterio, just a beautiful pitch to get him. IKF, though, chopper right up the middle. IKF had a really good night tonight against the Braves bullpen. Ha-Seong Kim, kind of, you could tell by the body language, thought he should have got there. But even if he gets there, there's not a play for him to make. That brings the Red Sox within 1. And Jarren Duran and the top of the order are lurking. Hard hit ball to Acuna, but something that I want to mention, because it happened several times this game, Ronald Acuna probably saves this game for you just from fear factor alone. Teams fear running on his arms so much that it is without a doubt in my mind that IKF makes it to third. Probably, and considering that Rafaela grounded to the left side, Ha-Seong Kim had to throw to third to get the force out on IKF. If IKF is sitting at third, that is a very tough play for the Braves to make to get IKF out at the plate to keep this game at 7-6. So very, very important. It's not going to go down in any box score, but Ronald Acuna Jr. being in the lineup, being in right field, not DHing, but being in right field, absolutely probably saved this game for you. 60% of the time, it works 100% of the time. But moves or get cut off the lead runner, and Wilyer Abreu grounds out, and that was your ball game. The Braves had to grit this one out, no blowout, and there really haven't been any blowouts over the past week. Since the Miami series, there was nothing but blowouts in that series. But the Braves improve to a MLB best 37-18, their best record to start a season since 2003. So, this is a long episode. I am rapidly losing my voice, but it's good to be back, everybody. And it's great to see the Braves back in the win column. Thank you so much if you watched this far. It really does help out the channel if you like the video to actually, like the video. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe. It does more for my channel than anything else. So, thank you so much, and until next time, I'm Caden. Keep on chopping.